If you could do just one thing that would totally level up your mood, your focus, your energy, your immune system, even how long you live, what would it be? Well, according to Stanford neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman, the answer is actually pretty simple. It's all about mastering your sleep. But how do you do that? It's not about some magic pill. It's about a practical, science-backed toolkit of behaviors you can use every single day. So, let's dive into this master guide and figure out how to optimize your sleep. This quote really hits the nail on the head. We have to stop thinking of sleep as just this passive off state. It's not. It's an active, foundational process that governs pretty much everything. It's in control of our immune system, our ability to heal, our mental clarity, heck, even how we look. As Dr. Huberman puts it, basically everything in life just gets better when we're sleeping well. So yeah, the stakes couldn't be higher. So how do we actually build that solid foundation? Dr. Huberman's framework is beautifully simple. It's not just about what you do at bedtime, it's about managing your entire 24-hour cycle. He breaks the day down into 3 critical periods, and each one has specific actions you can take to work with your body's natural rhythms to get perfect sleep. Let's start with the first, and honestly, probably the most important period, what you do right after you wake up. The actions you take in this first hour don't just set the tone for your day. They actually start a timer for when you're going to feel sleepy that night. Okay, this is the single most powerful tool you have, period. Within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, you need to get outside and get bright light in your eyes. This isn't just some wellness trend. It's based on tons of neuroscience. This light hits special neurons in your eyes that tell your brain's master clock to kick off a whole bunch of events, including a healthy spike in cortisol, which is exactly what you want in the morning to feel awake and alert. On a clear, sunny day, you only need about 5 minutes. If it's cloudy, you'll need a little more time, maybe 10 minutes. And on a really dark, overcast day, you might need 20, even 30 minutes. And remember, no sunglasses for this. Now, what's really fascinating here is this crucial imbalance in our biology. In the morning, you need a massive amount of light. We're talking tens of thousands of lux from sunlight to send that wake up signal. Your indoor lights, they're maybe 1,000 lux if you're lucky. Not even close. But here's the diabolical twist. At night, your brain becomes so sensitive that even a little bit of artificial light can be enough to slam the brakes on melatonin production and trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime. For all you coffee lovers out there, this one might be tough, but trust me, it's a game changer. The advice is to delay your caffeine for about 90 to 120 minutes after you wake up. Here's why. All day long, a molecule called adenosine builds up in your brain, and that's what makes you feel sleepy. When you first wake up, you've still got some of that adenosine floating around. By waiting to have your coffee, you let your body clear it out naturally. If you drink caffeine right away, you're just blocking the adenosine receptors. And when that caffeine wears off later, bam, all that adenosine hits you at once. And that's what causes that horrible afternoon crash. Okay, let's move on to our second critical period, the afternoon. This is all about managing your energy to protect that sleep pressure you've been carefully building all day. Seriously, what you do here has a direct impact on your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep later that night. So the main goal here is to avoid sleep from the night. Obviously, you want to cut off caffeine around 2 or 3 p.m. Its effects can mess with your sleep quality even if you think you're falling asleep just fine. If you love a good nap, that's totally cool, but try to keep it under 90 minutes and don't do it too late in the day or you'll burn off that sleep pressure you need for bedtime. A fantastic alternative is something called non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. You can find these guided hypnosis or meditation scripts all over the internet for free, and they deeply relax your body and mind without robbing you of nighttime sleep. Just like that morning sunlight sets your clock, seeing the sun again in the late afternoon gives it a second anchor point. As the sun gets lower, the quality of the light changes. That specific mix of yellow, blue, and orange light tells those same neurons in your eyes that evening is coming. It's just a brilliant example of how our bodies are tuned to the natural world. It signals that it's time to start winding down, that sleep is on the way, and it even helps buffer you against the bad effects of artificial light later in the evening. And that brings us to our final critical period, the hours leading up to bed. This is where you create the perfect environment for your brain and body to shift gears and get ready for a night of deep restorative sleep. It's all about signaling darkness and safety to your nervous system. Remember that diabolical twist we talked about? Well, at night, you are incredibly sensitive to light. The rule of thumb is to avoid bright lights of any color between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., but especially overhead lights. Why overhead?
because the specific neurons that signal daytime are mostly in the bottom half of your retina, which, thanks to the way your eyes work, are always looking at the upper visual field. So overhead lights are basically a perfect imitation of the sun, exactly what you don't want. So dim the lights and use lamps that are placed low to the ground.
This one is a non-negotiable biological gate. To fall asleep and stay asleep, your core body temperature has to drop by 1 to 3 degrees. The easiest way to help this along is to sleep in a cool room. But, paradoxically, taking a hot bath or shower an hour or two before bed can really help. As you get out of the hot water, your body starts radiating all that heat, which causes your core temperature to drop, and that helps open the gate to sleep. Now, Dr. Huberman is very clear that behavioral tools should always be your first line of defense. But if you're doing everything right and still having a tough time, he talks about a supplement stack that can really help. You take this combo about 30 to 60 minutes before bed, and it's thought to work on different brain systems to help you feel drowsy and get deeper sleep. Magnesium threonate helps the nervous system relax, apigenin is like a mild chamomile-derived sedative, and theanine can help quiet your mind. Of course, you should always talk to your doctor before starting any new supplements, but this is the protocol that many people have found really helpful.
Okay, this might sound a little weird, but it's an incredibly powerful and simple tool. A lot of us breathe through our mouths at night, which can lead to snoring, sleep apnea, and just poor oxygenation overall. By using a little piece of medical tape to gently keep your lips sealed, you encourage your body to breathe through the nose. This improves oxygen delivery, can reduce those little wake-ups during the night, and just leads to much higher quality sleep.
So, we've pretty much covered the core toolkit. Now let's add one slightly more advanced concept that gives you precise control over your sleep schedule. This is how you build a protocol that's truly personalized for you. This advanced tool is all about something called your temperature minimum. It's just the time when your body is at its absolute coldest, which happens to be pretty consistently about 2 hours before you normally wake up. So, for example, if you usually wake up at 7 a.m., your temperature minimum is around 5 a.m. That specific time is the absolute anchor of your entire circadian rhythm. And if you understand it, you can basically shift your internal clock whenever you want. And this shows you exactly how to use that anchor point. If you get bright light or do some exercise in the hours before your temperature minimum, let's say you get up at 3 a.m. for some reason, you're telling your brain to delay the clock. You'll want to go to bed later and wake up later. This is super useful for traveling west. On the flip side, if you get light or exercise after your temperature minimum, like at 6 a.m., you're advancing your clock. You'll get sleepy earlier that night. This is literally how you become a morning person or adjust when you travel east.
So let's just put it all together. If you do nothing else, just focus on these 5 foundational habits. They cost absolutely nothing. Get that morning sunlight. Delay your caffeine. Avoid bright lights at night. Sleep in a cool, dark room. And try to keep a consistent schedule. Even on the weekends, staying within about an hour of your usual wake and sleep times. If you can master these 5 behaviors, you will see the vast majority of your sleep quality improvements right there.
All this information is powerful, but only if you actually use it. So think about it right now. From everything we just covered, what is the single, tangible tool you're going to put into action tonight or tomorrow morning? Are you going to dim the lights, maybe try some mouth tape, or set your alarm to get that morning sunlight? The path to better performance, better health, and more happiness. It really does start with a single night's sleep. Make yours count.